Welcome to John Esse's Sports Channel, and it's League One, Week 43 predictions. This is getting far too late now for anybody like Rotherham to get saved, isn't it? So let's have a look through League One, Week 43. We're going to start with Cardiff versus Bolton, second versus fourth. Cardiff lose, draw, win, lose, draw. Second place. Now, if you look at the table, they are on 78 points. Look, the nearest is third place, Bradford. One game more as well on 41 games with 71 points. Can they be caught? Well, with form like that, they could. And guess what? The team underneath them is underneath Bradford is Bolton on 70. This is a true six-pointer because if Bolton win this one, they're on 73. Cardiff, of course, who they're playing, will be on 78. 5 points difference with 3 points per game. Don't rule them out. Really don't rule them out. But what are Bolton's stats? Win, draw, lose, win, draw. And you can see the guys at the top, apart from Lincoln, just aren't winning what they have been doing in recent years. So it's going to be really difficult. I mean, Cardiff, last time out, Peterborough 1-1 draw away from home. Both of those goals right after the restart in the second half. And to be honest, Cardiff, 28 shots, for God's sake, 8 on target, 1 in the net. They went away thinking that Peterborough defence, and I've said it before, the Peterborough defence can be rock solid. Bolton, of course, 2-2 last time out, and remember Stockport County's 90 plus 4 minute red card for Louis Barry. Look, it's been a very up and down year, hasn't it? With gameplay, with people getting injured, with poor referees and all that. But in this game in particular, I think that Bolton really 14 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. I've said they can be really critical. 3 on target, 2 in the net, but 14 shots. They should be thinking, if they're up there in the top 2 or 3, 4, they need to be thinking about getting every other shot on target, and they'd be sailing this league. So what are you thinking about Cardiff versus Bolton then, because this is going to be very, very difficult. 3-1, 2-2, 2-1. There's a lot of people thinking that Cardiff will sail it, but looking at the stats and looking at how fatigued they do seem to be looking, 1 goal in the last 3 games, so they're not really hitting it, are they? But Bolton are. However, Cardiff at home is really difficult. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go Cardiff 2, Bolton 2. For that reason, I'm going to agree with you. Lincoln City next. Lincoln first and Orient in 15th. Now, I've said already that Lincoln have been indeed showing how good they are. Win, draw, win. The draw against Huddersfield was a surprise for me. 2-2 draw away at Huddersfield, and I would have bet my last dollar on Lincoln winning it, but they didn't. Last time out, Reading won and Lincoln 2, and Reading, I would say Reading thought they'd equalised, didn't they? 90 plus 2 minutes, that's it, we've got a draw, and then 90 plus 6 minutes. Lincoln City win it. What extra time that was. Having said that, there was only 3 shots on target in the entire game. 1 for Reading, 2 for Lincoln. And that's what the score was. That was what the score was. What an insane game. This was all defensive. Reading had every bit of play. They had 70% play. Lincoln let them have it, so they weren't doing anything with it. They had a huge amount of passing. They just kept the ball, passed it between them, did bugger all with it. And Lincoln were happy to let them do it. They got that 5-minute lead. Why should we worry, until 90 plus 2 minutes when Reading scored and they said, oh shit, we need to do something about it. And they did. So that could have backfired on Lincoln, couldn't it? Really could. But it was a really defensive game. I don't like those games because it's, just nothing happens. The same team keeps the ball, but nothing ever comes of it. So that's the Lincoln side. Leyton Orient next. Win, win, win. Draw, draw, lose. And really, the draw against Exeter was, after those 3 wins, was one of those. This is is this a sign of just mid-table? We're not going anywhere. But you've got to remember, 15th position. They're not going anywhere. Not going up. Not going down. And that did hit my mind. They're 0-0 against Wigan. I'm thinking they're sailing it. They're on the beach. Huddersfield next, 2-1. The last time, of course, Orient 1, Huddersfield 2, and Huddersfield scored all 3 goals here. 90 plus 16 minutes for Huddersfield. Ouch! I don't think this was really a bad game as far as yellow cards and red cards. I don't think it was really something that I would say was nasty. How many did they get? 2 yellow cards for Orient and 1, 2, 3 for Huddersfield. Like I say, I don't really remember it being a particularly nasty game, but it was a decent enough game. Huddersfield probably deserved the look on the day, but Leyton Orient didn't really do badly. 2-1 was probably a decent result, to be quite honest. So Lincoln City versus Leyton Orient. 2-0, 1-0, 1-1, someone says it. And I don't know, this Lincoln City train just does. They did nearly make a mistake, remember, with their game plan in the last game, but it just happened to pay off. Could they do the same again? I don't think they will do at home. Lincoln City, 2-0, 1-0, 1-1. I'm going to go with Lincoln City 2, Leyton Orient 0. I'll agree with the first guy there. And I assume there's a guy. Plymouth in 7th and 21st place, Exeter next. Of course, we do like to take your predictions and then move your predictions on into the form, and then we'll work out where we're going from there. So I can see where you're going. Plymouth versus Exeter. Plymouth Argyle in 7th then. Win, draw, win, win, lose, win. And they really have changed it, haven't they? The first half of the season was pretty meh for Plymouth. Then they just seem to have got trotting, just seem to have got up here. And now in 7th place with 62 points, Stevenage on 64. Possibly Stockport on 67, but maybe catchable, but they're on 41 games. Maybe. Plymouth are thinking, can we get into that? If they can get into the playoffs now, they're doing really well, remember. They've only had half a season where they've played anywhere near like they should be doing. Barnsley last time out, and Barnsley have been up and down. Barnsley 0, Plymouth 3, and realistically, Barnsley weren't in it. 1 shot on target in the entire game out of their 11 on target. And Plymouth again let Barnsley have the ball. 63% of their play was with Barnsley. And actually, they didn't pass it as much as they should be doing for that. They really didn't. Their passing was pretty poor. Barnsley, they should have done better. They just kept getting it back from this Plymouth side. And, we're in the lead. Here, you have it. See, because you're not doing anything with it. 1 shot on target. Plymouth, 37% possession, 15 shots, 8 of them on target, 3 in the net. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was 4 or 5-0, to be quite honest. So they have changed remarkably, this Plymouth side. Exeter then, these have changed as well. Lose, lose, lose. Draw, lose, win. A draw against Orient, 0-0. Good draw that for Exeter. They tried to get a point. We need to get a point. They did. Blackpool 1-0 defeat. They'd have been bitterly disappointed they lost that one. They really were. And then Doncaster 3-0 win. Now, of course, these are all in the second half. So, they had to really pound this side. But the Exeter side let Doncaster have far too much of the ball, and they let them have far too many shots. Doncaster 61% possession, 18 shots, 10 of them on target and none in the net. That is just a really bad pointer. Exeter can be really clinical in front of goal. 39% possession, 13 shots, 6 of them on target, 3 in the net. I said they can be clinical. They were in this game. So we've got two teams here who can be very clinical. This is going to be really tough, isn't it? I can see this being either a loggerhead or a high scoring game. Plymouth versus Exeter then, 3-0, 2-0, 1-1 is what I've got. I may have gone with a 3-3. But I'm going to go with you lot. Plymouth 1, Exeter 1. Watch out for the 3-3. If you're a betting man, that could be a good score here. Could be indeed. What a bet that would be. Blackpool next. Blackpool in 20th. Peterborough in 13th. And again, I think Peterborough are just sailing it now, aren't they? Blackpool, though, if we just quickly look at Blackpool, they got 4 teams below them, but they're only 2 points ahead of Exeter, who, like I said, have been doing very well, considering they've been just getting the points now, just enough. Have Blackpool? Well, the answer is yes. Lose, win, draw, win, lose. That must be enough to keep them just out. If they could win this game, I would be reasonably confident if Exeter don't get a point this weekend that they're going to be pretty much safe. But possibly by goal difference, but it's going to be very close. Last time out, it was. In fact, actually, if we go back 2 games, Blackpool won 1-0 against Exeter in the game before the Stevenage game. So, is that something? Is that going to be the game that changed this season? Quite likely. Stevenage last time out 1-0 defeat, and I think that what Stevenage won, Blackpool 0. Both teams really did batten down the hatches at the back. I mean, although Stevenage got 12 shots and they were at home, only 4 of them on target, which I suppose is about akin for the bottom half of the league, and 1 in the net, which I suppose, again, 4-to-1 ratio is about right, I suppose. So let's not be too harsh on Stevenage. No, I think Blackpool with 4 shots from 41% possession, none of them on target, shows how good that Stevenage defence was. Never have a shot is just criminal, isn't it? Even if it's from halfway line, just give it a go. If you're not getting that for the final third, obviously. So Peterborough then, draw, lose, win, draw, lose, draw. But the last time out, you've got to remember the last 2 games, Luton Town 2-1 defeat. And they've been doing really well recently. So, that's no mean defeat. And Peterborough won. Cardiff won. Cardiff went into the lead on 48 and Peterborough nabbed the equaliser on 49. I mean, what a game this was. But like I say, 28 shots for Cardiff, 8 of them on target, only 1 in the net. They would have been hoping for a hell of a lot more than a 1-1 draw. Peterborough would have been going away thinking, wow, we did it. That was absolutely brilliant game there. It really was a brilliant game. Although Peterborough, I must admit, they are in 13th. They're not really going to go anywhere. There's far too many teams above them. Far too many teams below them, and we're near the end of the season. So what are you thinking? Blackpool versus Peterborough. 1-1, 1-0, 2-1. I think Peterborough will score here. I just think that that laid-back attitude that they seem to have got now that they're on the beach is just brilliant. Blackpool 2, Peterborough 1. Let's go to the next game, which is not a game on the beach. It's Bradford in 3rd versus Stevenage in 6th. Now Bradford are obviously thinking we could just about get up to that 2nd spot. It's very, very difficult, but if Cardiff didn't win and Bradford won, you could perhaps 2 points gained, 70, there'd be 5 points behind them. it's not out of the thought cycle, is it? So if it's not quite out of the question, what is it for Bradford? Win, lose, draw, lose, win, win against Northampton Town 1-0. They would have been disappointed. They were really pegged back quite hard. They kept attacking Northampton. But Northampton's defence, again, just kept on and on and on. No matter how many times they shot, they couldn't actually get something on target as often as they really wanted to. 7 on target for Bradford, only 1 for Northampton. Northampton really did just batten down the hatches. Bradford did have their shots, and they did have them on target, just only one of them went in the net. They weren't very clinical in that game. And then Wycombe Wanderers win 2-1. And I've been saying, it's not great football, but they're getting the points. And again, Wycombe Wanderers 1, Bradford 2. Now, Bradford went behind on 6 minutes. I thought that perhaps I've got it wrong and Bradford weren't going to win it. But they came back really well in the second half. And perhaps this game would have been better as a draw. I'll give Wycombe the first half. I'll give Bradford the second half. That's what I think it should have been, perhaps. Wycombe, I'll give them an extra half a point for the fact that their passing was superb in that game. And Bradford's was meh, okay. So that's the Bradford team. How about the Stevenage? Lose, win, draw, win. A 0-0 draw against Rotherham United, both playing absolutely dreadful football. And Stevenage against Blackpool. Stevenage 1, Blackpool 0. You would really hope that Stevenage could do better than 1-0 against this Blackpool side. 12 shots from their 60% possession, 4 of them on target, 1 in the net. That's a little bit akin to a side in the bottom half rather than a side wanting to break into that a confirmed top 6 place, isn't it? So that's the Stevenage Blackpool game. They just didn't quite for me do what they should have done. I think they could do better. Is on the school report there for Stevenage. So it's Bradford versus Stevenage. What are you thinking? 3rd versus 6th. Now Bradford got their bit in between their teeth, need to keep going. Can they get that 2nd place? They really do have to win this one, guys. Against a Stevenage side that are thinking the same down there. I mean, how far are they away? They're 2 points away from above Plymouth in 7th place. They have to win this to realistically stay out of the 7th and below places. 1-0, 0-0, 2-1. Yeah, I can see all of these. I really can. I think Bradford at home, they are the best. Apparently, they are statistically the best team at home. So let's go with Bradford 2, Stevenage 1. You Bradford supporters that keep emailing me, yes, I think you're going to be damn close at the end to that 2nd place. I think you might even nick it in the last game. This is going to be one hell of a last few games, isn't it, for Bradford City? Burton Albion next versus Wimbledon, and 19th versus 16th. And this time it is a battle of the beach. So let's go with Burton versus Wimbledon. Now, you would have been thinking that in 19th place, surely to God, they're not safe. Well, yeah, 48 points with Exeter on 46. I can see what you mean, but Burton have been, you'll see in a minute, Burton have been getting the points just enough to stay up there. Burton Albion, win, lose, draw. That sort of numbers per game, points per game, is not going to see you dropping into that bottom 4. Surely to God, a Barnsley 1-1 draw at home and an away 0-0 draw against Mansfield last time out. And I remember looking at this Mansfield 0, Burton 0. There was a disallowed goal, I think, at some point that flashed up on the screen. A little bit tentative, this game, a little bit, let's just try and get into that 3rd and have a quick shot. It wasn't really very well thought out by either side in this one. Both of them just not wanting to concede and let a goal in. 4 shots for Barnsley, 4 shots for Mansfield on target, should I say. 1 shot for Burton on target, and 0-0. It wasn't a boring game. It was just a very tentative game of how far up can we play the ball, and how far up can we get before we have to give that shot off. And the stats there really saying that Mansfield did the better of that game, working it up front. If anybody would have been disappointed in getting 0-0, it would have been Mansfield. Their passing was just that little bit better than Burton's. So Wimbledon is who they're playing, and they've had they've had a different season, haven't they? There's been bits where the run of the green went with them, the referee's decision went with them, and the points went with them. And then recently, lose, draw, lose, and it just seems to have dissipated into a mid-table, end-of-season game on the beach. Well, Stockport 3-0 defeat, Lincoln City 1-0 defeat. Look there, that's not a bad result, is it? And a Luton Town last time out, Wimbledon 0, Luton 3. And I really thought that Wimbledon would do more in this game. 6 shots for Wimbledon out of their 38% possession. None of them on target. And they can be clinical up front. If they'd have had 1, then it may have been a different story, but 24 shots for Luton. 9 of them on target, 3 in the net. And I tell you what, that too could have been 4-5-0 easily by that Luton side. But it wasn't. They kept it down, I think, Wimbledon, quite nicely. They can, when they want to, pull that defence in together. It wasn't quite working in this game against Luton. Burton versus Wimbledon. Will that Wimbledon defence that can be strong, will it show its head in this game? 19th versus 16th. 1-0, 1-0, 1-1. You really aren't thinking there's going to be many goals, are you? I'm going to go with you. Burton 1, Wimbledon 0, and we'll move on. And that should be really, really well and truly on the beach then, shouldn't it? For Burton. Doncaster in 17th and Reading in 8th. Let's just have a look at that one. Doncaster, of course, played so well at first. And then recently dropping down to where they are in 17th position on 50 points, but they are safe. Reading in 8th with 62 points, and they're sort of thinking a little bit of a run in these last 4 games for them should be really, really interesting, and they could get them goal difference into 6th. Only if the others above them continue to lose points, which they are, like Cardiff are. So Doncaster, win, draw, win, lose, and they have sort of been getting just enough points to consider themselves safe. Mansfield 2-0 defeat at home would have been disappointing, and that Exeter 3, Doncaster 0 was certainly disappointing for this side, because Doncaster actually put up the best performance for me, and Doncaster will have come away thinking that was just not the result we expected, and not the result they really deserved. I mean, and being a Rotherham fan, yeah, it's tough going down and having Doncaster stay up. But all benefit to them, they played a good game and they shouldn't have lost that one. Reading then, draw, win, believe me. Draw, win, win, draw, lose. Huddersfield 1-1 draw for Reading, and that was a good game to watch, to be quite honest. And a Lincoln City, Reading 1, Lincoln City 2. This is the game where Reading thought they'd won it, thought they'd equalised it. It would have been like winning a game, wouldn't it? 90 plus 2 minutes they equalised, and the fans are thinking, yes, we've got something from it, until Lincoln City score on 90 plus 6 and they end up getting nothing. It was a defensive game. We've already discussed it. I think both teams here would have been happy with a draw. Reading really thought they'd nicked it. Probably was a draw game, an exciting draw game, really was. Although the excitement was in extra time. Well, some of it was. So that's that one. Doncaster versus Reading, and I can see both these teams really being quite easy about this game. Reading, I think, will be the ones that need to, if they want to keep up that push, they're going to have to win this game. If they lose it, it is on the beach, I'm afraid. What are you saying? 1-2, 1-1, 0-1, 0-1. Yes, I'm going to go. Yeah, everybody except for one person says Reading. Doncaster 0, Reading 1. I think they've got more to play for than Doncaster as we move to Huddersfield. Huddersfield in 9th, Wycombe in 11th. This is definitely a game where Huddersfield are on 61 points. Look, I know you're only 3 points away from Stevenage. It isn't against all odds that they could nick the 6th slot, but to be honest, there's a lot of teams around there. It's just a case of flick the coin and see whether it turns heads or tails. I think certainly if they lose against this Wycombe side, who are on 59 points, it would be probably against hope to think that you could get that 6th slot. It's possible, statistically possible, but I think the likelihood is probably not. And Wycombe fans being on 59 points, 62 points. Everybody would have to lose ahead of you for it to be likely, I think, for you to get into the playoffs. I think realistically this is a game where Huddersfield are thinking one last push to see if we can turn the last few games into wins and see where we finish. So Huddersfield then, it's win, draw, lose, draw, win. So only one defeat, and that was against Plymouth, 3-1 away. And you know what Plymouth are like at home? 3-1, 3-0 is quite often for them. So last win was, it was Reading 1-1 before that at home, which was a really good draw. Orient 1, Huddersfield 2, 90 plus 16 minutes winner. Ouch. Huddersfield here scoring all 3 goals, including Orient's goal on 20 minutes. So, yeah, Huddersfield really did do well. 10 shots, 4 on target, 2 in the net. Yeah, very clinical. They did a Barnes, they did a Bradford. They did what they needed to do, and they won it, albeit at the last minute. That must have really, really hurt. That must have really, really hurt the Bradford, the Orient team there. The Orient team. I'm sure we're on the right team. Wycombe Wanderers then next. Lose, win, lose, win, lose, lose. Stop. 4-0 win against Port Vale. Brilliant. And they've been playing really well. Get back to them in a minute. Stockport 3-0 defeat and a Bradford 2-1 defeat. I think that Bradford, again, they were a bit stunned by that goal they went behind to. And realistically, to me, didn't come back until the second half, where they suddenly got those 2 goals. I think that was a draw. I think that should have been a draw. However, it wasn't. Bradford came away with a win and Wycombe didn't. I think Wycombe will be very disappointed in losing that one. Will they want to get back here? Yes, but they're hoping against hope to be able to. That last place for playoffs doesn't dwindle away quite yet. Huddersfield Wycombe, what are you thinking? 1-1, 2-2, 1-1. Thank you, you lot. I'm going to go with you. Huddersfield 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Hey, you've made it quite easy for that one, haven't you? Rotherham versus Barnsley next. And Rotherham's season has just gone from bad to worse, and they're just not scoring at all. They scored 2 against. We scored 2 against Bolton. That was the last time we scored 5 games ago. So 2 goals in the last 6 games. Are we going to score here? Absolutely no chance. Lose, draw, lose, lose, draw, lose. Disappointing Port Vale defeat there, 1-0. I think as soon as the game got to that first goal on that 15 minutes, we just gave up and let them win it. Bad team, poor play. No goals, no hope. Barnsley next. Draw, lose, draw, lose. But there's not many goals in this team either. 1-0 defeat against Doncaster, 1-1 draw against Burton Albion, and a 3-0 defeat last time out against a pretty good Plymouth side. And to be honest, 11 shots and 1 on target for Barnsley sums it up. And the Plymouth side could have won 4 or 5-0. So it's two sides pretty much in the doldrums here. Of course, Rotherham could get relegated this Saturday, so let's see if it happens. What are you saying? 0-1, 1-2, 0-3. Yes, I don't think they'll score 3, guys, but I think Rotherham 0, Barnsley 1, and we'll continue to the last game, which is 18th place Wigan, 12th place Mansfield Town. Now, Wigan in 18th. They do, as one of my subscribers said, we do what we have to do. We're doing well against the teams we need to, and you're getting I think realistically, if you look at Wigan in 49 points, pretty much safe. I think to confirm safety, one more win would do it against a Mansfield side who are in 12th, and to be honest, I think that Mansfield, 53 points. I mean, how close do they get? They're 11 points away from 6th place. And of course, they're not going to get that. Every team above them would have to lose. But they're going to be very close, I think, at the end of the season. And at the minute, they're in the exact position where I thought they'd finish at the end of the season. So I'm going to take a hit on that one. Wigan versus Mansfield. Last time, let's just go through the Wigan. Win, draw, win, lose, draw, win for Wigan. The win against Northampton 3-1, probably expected. And then draw against Orient before it. Those 4 points out of 6 has really seen them very safe indeed. For Mansfield, win, draw, win, win, draw, and they're just plodding along now. They've changed, but they changed too late. Burton 0-0. Had they actually got 3 points from this, it would have been so bloody close, wouldn't it? So instead of being 11 points behind, they'd be 9 points behind. And at that, I might think a little bit of a disaster up there for those teams. Falling over at the last minute like Sheffield United usually do in the Championship. And they could just nick it at the last minute. But a draw 0-0 against Burton, and realistically, it was probably Mansfield walking away here. 4 shots on target to Burton's 1 shot on target, thinking we should at least have got a goal against them. At least. And it was at home as well. So that was a disappointing one. So what are you thinking? 1-1, 1-1, 2-2. Thank you very much. You're not giving me any choice here but to go with Wigan 1, Mansfield 1. If you like what you've seen, do like and subscribe, and we'll give you some more videos towards the end of the season and have an early look into next season. For me, in League 2. For you lot, in League 1 probably. And it's John Esser Sports Channel, over and out. Please do like and subscribe.